truly powerful events. While Trump was waiting for Iran to collapse from within one day, there was an unexpected event. Iranian leaders are walking in the streets under bombardment, while at the same time, American refueling planes are falling over Iraq. Did America really fall into this Iranian-Chinese trap? How did J.D. Vance go from being Trump's vice president to one of the first opponents? The war? Today, the balance of power in the Middle East is changing forever. Russia is the biggest winner, and Europe is watching the situation in a shock that was not expected at all. We will talk about all of this today, but after this break. Stay with us. Dear viewers, peace be upon you and God's mercy and blessings. Welcome back today, God willing, in this episode of the Opinion series, which we always dedicate to keep up with the latest developments in this war taking place in the Middle East between Iran and the Epstein coalition. Today, dear viewers, we begin this episode with this prominent event that has taken place in all Iranian cities and towns, especially the Iranian capital Tehran. The streets and squares of Tehran and all Iranian cities were filled with tens of thousands of people, commemorating Quds Day in solidarity with the Palestinian people and with the city of Jerusalem. So that everyone understands, we need to clarify exactly this point about Quds Day. How did this day come about exactly? Why is it organized every year? Because the Israeli entity, when it occupied and annexed East Jerusalem during the Nakba War, or what is called the Six-Day War in 1967, Israel issued a declaration to commemorate May 28th of every year as a remembrance of this occupation. It celebrates it every year and called it Jerusalem Day, and has continued to commemorate and celebrate this day from 1968 until today. Therefore, Iran in 1979, which is about 10 years after this decision, the first thing Khomeini did when he overthrew the Shah's regime was to make the last Friday of Ramadan an annual occasion of solidarity with Jerusalem and the Palestinian people. And he gave it this name, International Quds Day. So for the Jews, Jerusalem Day is on May 28th every year, while for Muslims, Quds Day is the last Friday of every Ramadan. And what's strange is that, unfortunately, some Arab countries have chosen to celebrate the Israeli Jerusalem Day. This means that on this day, May 28th, you find some celebratory activities or even official participation in events organized by Israeli embassies in a number of countries, and so on. So today, as every year, the Iranian people took to the streets in solidarity marches to commemorate this occasion. What's strange and new today is that the Iranian people took to the streets despite the Israeli and American bombardment, defying this Israeli and American attack. Honestly, we've never seen the people show such resilience and courage. Warplanes were flying overhead, and even more than that, the bombing continued. There was even a strike just a few meters away from this march in Tehran, yet the marches continued and the people were completely unfazed by the bombing. As if nothing had happened, slogans were raised against this alliance, the Epstein coalition, against Trump, against Netanyahu, and so on. Moreover, what was remarkable about these solidarity marches was the participation of many political and military leaders, such as the head of Iranian national security, Ali Larijani, the foreign minister, Abbas Araghchi, and also the Iranian president, Pezeshkian. They all participated in these marches, appeared on video, and gave statements to the media while being at the heart of these marches. This truly sends strong signals and indicates that Iran's leaders, just like the people, are out walking in the streets. They are also unconcerned about the American and Israeli bombardment, unlike the Israeli leaders who are hiding underground throughout this war. Add to that the appearance of Iran's leaders in the streets. It gives the impression and reassurance to the Iranian people that Iran is truly victorious. meaning it raises the morale of the Iranian people. It also sends the impression that Iran has really gotten rid of all spies and agents. This means that there is no longer any concern in Iran or within Iran about the fifth column. The internal situation has become under control, it has become good, there are no longer any protests against the government, and the people have become united, supporting and standing with the Iranian government. And the evidence is that today we see the leaders walking in the streets among the people with enough support from the people. So what is noticeable is that every day of this war, there are signals, there are strong messages that Iran sends. Every day, Iran gives a lesson to the Epstein coalition and to the whole world, whether it's lessons in politics, in the way this war is managed, or in military strategies. This was not expected at all. Today, dear viewers, we see that Iran is experiencing great internal cohesion among all components of the Iranian people, while in America we see the complete opposite. Today we see confusion and internal conflicts within the American administration. For example, the American website Politico revealed that Vice President J.D. Vance was against this war from the beginning. He opposed Trump and refused to start this war on Iran because he was afraid from the start, and he was skeptical that the operation would succeed. The website said that J.D. Vance strongly opposed the idea of starting this war for the administration, but it said that once Trump made the decision for war, it became a professional matter, and it was necessary for him to align himself with Trump's decision, make statements with Trump, and so on. And J.D. Vance also strongly opposed, just so everyone knows, he also strongly opposed the American military intervention in Yemen, which was at the beginning of this year. He rejected this idea as well. So today it becomes clear that J.D. Vance was right twice, because in both cases, whether against Yemen or today against Iran, America is suffering. It truly suffered a defeat, and this defeat could have been avoided by not entering this war. So today there is a major division within the American administration. J.D. Vance says to Trump, "I told you so and you didn't take my advice." Now you are dragging America into a very dangerous quagmire that's hard to get out of. Also, there is a report published by the American magazine National Interest, which also said that a division has begun between America and Israel, between Trump and Netanyahu. He said that because of the difference in goals regarding Iran, Israel wants something from Iran, but America has a different goal, it wants something else, so a clash is happening between America and Israel. What is also noticeable today, dear viewers, is that the American President Trump has changed his tone towards the Iranian people. I mean, throughout this war, he used to ask the Iranian people to take to the streets to overthrow the regime, and he was waiting for splits to appear in the army or for new leaders to emerge against the Iranian regime. Today he might be feeling frustrated. I mean, today he made a completely different statement. For the first time, he attacked Iran itself instead of attacking the Iranian regime. For the first time, he spoke of Iran as a hostile country instead of saying that the Iranian regime is the enemy. And today, what is Trump saying? He has put up, I believe, an amount of $10 million. That is for anyone who informs on, who reveals the location of the Supreme Leader, Mojtaba Khamenei. And this shows exactly how much frustration he is living with, and how now he might be starting a new phase, putting everyone in Iran in the category of America's enemies, meaning both the government and the people, and this might lead us to believe that he will start a new phase of this situation, war by bombing civilians. He said, "Wait and see what will happen in Iran starting today." He said, "I'm killing them now," and for him that's an honor. That's what he means as well. Today, we see a very significant event that the region has witnessed. The crash of an American refueling plane over Iraqi territory. The plane was refueling American fighter jets in the air, but it crashed. Iraq, and as a result, 6 American soldiers who were on board this plane died, while another plane was hit in the same area and made an emergency landing at Tel Aviv airport. The Iranian army issued a statement saying that the plane was shot down by a missile launched by armed groups loyal to them in Iraq, and indeed the Islamic resistance in Iraq. They came out to confirm that they were the ones who shot down this plane and that they succeeded in downing this plane and hitting another one, but America was never satisfied with this. They said that this plane crashed on its own. This time they didn't say it was due to friendly fire, nor did they say it was due to hostile fire. They said it crashed on its own and that they are still investigating the matter. So it's clear that the Iranian account is the correct one, because first of all, we're talking about both planes being hit at the same moment. One plane crashed and the other survived, but had to make an emergency landing with damage. If it had been a technical malfunction that caused the plane to crash, why would the second plane land at the airport with damage, with its rear wing shattered? Secondly, also, since the beginning of this war, and this is known to everyone, America has been hiding the facts and concealing the losses. Up until today, almost 4 fighter jets have been shot down, but they have only admitted to 3. Why is that? Because videos of this incident were leaked, that's why they admitted to these 3 fighter jets. Even their admission wasn't complete, because what did they say? They said it was brought down by friendly fire. Today, the same thing happened. A large aerial refueling aircraft went down, and America says it crashed on its own, because this time the crash happened in Iraq, maybe because there aren't any there in Iraq. So, friendly fire. Fortunately for America, the plane that was shot down today was a KC-135. This type is considered somewhat old, produced in the 1950s. It's not one of the modern versions that cost over $300 million per plane today. But even so, today China and Russia are crossing off another plane from the list of American military capabilities. They add it to the thousands of offensive missiles, which they have of course crossed off, to the thousands of interceptor missiles as well, and to dozens of radars. So the list is long. The biggest loser from this war is America, and the biggest winners from this war are Russia and China. China benefits greatly from this attrition of American forces, and Russia even benefits from the situation in the Strait of Hormuz. All the countries in the world are now starting to buy oil and gas from Russia, and Russia is also benefiting from this skyrocketing increase in energy prices. Today, there are reports, including some published in the British newspaper, stating that Russia is now making profits of up to $150 million a day as a result of this conflict alone. It's said that Europeans today are experiencing a shock because of these circumstances. To serve Russia, to serve the Russian economy, they were imposing sanctions and a blockade on Russian oil and gas. So today, all countries will turn to Russia because of what's happening, meaning the closure of the Strait of Hormuz, and they will buy oil and gas from Russia at very high prices. And it's multiplied even more. Today they're talking about $100 per barrel, and Iran says this price will rise to $200 per barrel if this war continues for another week. And Iran, despite this war, is also benefiting from this situation. Because Iran's oil production hasn't stopped. The export of Iranian oil to China hasn't stopped. Chinese ships are the only ones currently passing through the Strait of Hormuz. America is unable to stop this activity. They were talking about imposing a blockade in the Indian Ocean to prevent the export of Iranian oil, but then they ran into Chinese cargo ships. America cannot intercept Chinese ships. They were also talking about taking control of Karg Island in Iran, through which 90% of Iranian oil is exported. So they want to stop this Iranian oil export. But then they also ran into a disastrous scenario. Any force that lands on the island will find a barrage of missiles raining down on them. They will be completely surrounded by the Iranian forces. Iran is also benefiting. It is actually quite comfortable with this situation, with this war. I mean, all the indicators confirm that Trump has fallen into a catastrophic predicament that will be very difficult for him to get out of unscathed, and the consequences of this war will be disastrous for him in the upcoming midterm congressional elections, which will be held next November. Today everything has changed. So pay close attention. America and the West were using Ukraine to weaken Russia and drain its capabilities and economy. Today, we are seeing the same thing, but in reverse, Russia and China are now using Iran to drain America. And it's clear that today they will go further. This means they will reach the point of expulsion. They will actually carry out expulsions. The American presence in the Middle East. If this war continues any longer, it will cause the liberation of the Gulf countries from the American dominance that has lasted for decades. So we'll see exactly how things will turn out. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the like button. Peace be upon you. See you next time.